statement.
Well, it's good to see everybody. Thanks for coming and braving the weather. We've talked often with our team about, there's a book that I really enjoyed reading some years ago by Bill Walsh, and it's timely with football playoffs, but the score takes care of itself, and it's where our focus has been all along, of just being process-driven and trying to do the things that can turn into the end result being very positive. And of course, that's winning high-level basketball games like we've been in. We've done a lot of things well. We've improved in a number of different areas. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to just get through that final moment and come away with the victory. With our young team, we've played the strongest strength of schedule in league play so far through 4 games. We've been in them in the last minute 3 times. A lot of things that we can take away that we feel good about, and of course, several things that we want to fix and get better at. And that's where our focus is at as we get ready for UTSA tomorrow, a team that's drastically improved. Got a good player that became eligible recently. They played at Memphis to overtime. They shoot a lot of threes, pose a lot of different challenges that we've got to be ready for.
Questions?
You mentioned things you liked and things you wanted to work on. Maybe go in detail about some of the things that you've liked that you've seen from your team.
So we've improved, and we needed to, but we've improved in our turnover percentage. We're taking care of the basketball better in recent weeks. We're rebounding the basketball better. We still have to improve in both. Those are things that you'd like to be 10 out of 10 on and not give up any second shots or not turn it over at all. So you're always striving for perfection there. So I thought in the other night, we turned the basketball from side to side better than other games that we had, and that resulted in some really good offense. It's the special situations, the execution down the stretch of we were able to take care of the basketball, we were able to get a couple shots that we liked, just got to be able to finish some plays. And in particular the other night, and in some of these other games, it's not like any one big thing. It's, hey, if we could get this stop, if we could make this free throw, if we could knock down this open shot, just those types of things. You just get one of them feeling a whole lot different. And that's what we're just talking about, the game and the margins, just those little details that we got to keep knocking the door down.
Raven?
Obviously, PJ got the freshman of the week for the 6th time. What are you seeing in him? What is he seeing in himself? And what are you kind of talking with him about after each game or before each game? You know, some games he almost has 20 at halftime.
Yeah, so for him, number one, I thought he took a jump defensively the other night. He was matched up with Jalen Forbes, who is a prolific scorer and three-point shooter, and I thought he showed some things there with his ability to chase and close out, and we want to help him become a complete player in all different areas. He's still just a redshirt freshman. And then, of course, with his ability to score the basketball and attack the paint, of just being able to make certain reads of, hey, this is a time to keep pushing forward and get to the basket. This is a time to stop. These are some of the reads to get some assists and some good plays for some other guys. But just being one of those, not just a 3-level scorer, but a complete player all the way around. And that's always your goal and mission for every player, but that's certainly where we're at with him.
Does it kind of have opponents frazzled a bit to see like PJ as someone that gets points in the paint, and then you see guys like Carlos and Matt that are stroking threes beyond the arc that are bigger guys? Do you feel like that's a pretty good emphasis on your team, that you have kind of a difference? Yeah,
I think it's so important on every team to find how you're going to get points around the basket, how are you going to get fouled, how are you going to get the right guys fouled, and then how are you going to make three-point shots, because it's very challenging to be just one-dimensional. And for us, we're continually taking a look at how do we get pressure on the basket. And you can penetrate the defense by drives, cuts, post-ups, and then offensive rebounds. And we're just looking to find the best ways to do that. And PJ getting the basket has been a big way. Utilizing Matt Reed and Jared Garcia, and Carlos is emerging as more of a perimeter shooter. How do you space the floor and create those driving lanes to get to the basket? So we're always a work in progress. I think that we've We're playing a little bit cleaner offense overall. We've scored plenty enough in 3 of our 4 games to win, and but we always want to get better.
Can you hit on it briefly a little earlier, but can you touch on just how thin the margins are between winning and losing a game, especially the one possession or the overtime games that you guys have been playing recently? How thin are those margins truly?
I mean, you talk about, for example, in that Tulane game, we played 83 possessions of offense, played 83 possessions of defense. So I told our guys, like, the focus and concentration to really make every possession matter 166 times is challenging. But all we needed was one possession to be better on either end. One possession better of defense, one possession better of offense. And then also with that is understanding that even if you do everything right, it may still not work out. You may not make the shot. You may play a really clean possession of defense and then make a tough shot. And it's having that mental endurance, that stamina to just keep pushing forward and not try to do anything spectacular, but just be really solid, really consistent. But the margins of victory and the difference between good and great, the difference between average and good are just so small, and they really lay in the details of playing the percentages over and over and over again at this level of basketball.
How long does it take a team to learn that or learn how to widen their margin for error, I guess, when they're a younger team or a team who hasn't played together? How long is that different for every team? Is it 10 times? Where have you found that in your experience maybe?
Well, I think unfortunately for guys where things are new to them, you always grow typically best from struggle, and being able to sit through a film session yesterday and just see, like, hey, here's the things that if we just did this one thing better, this one time, like we're probably feeling differently right now. And we've got to be able to use that pain and that disappointment from losing the game to growing to not let that happen again. Because that's what growth is all about, is remembering when you're a young player and feeling like, okay, I know what that felt like. I know what it felt like in the moment. I know what it felt like in the aftermath. This is how I fix it. And it could be from how quickly we convert in defense, from the rise of the shot in getting back rather than seeing if the ball went in. That's 3 extra steps that could have maybe prevented an easier basket one time, and then all of a sudden changes the outcome of the game. So that's where we're at right now with these young guys.
Can you talk about the overall progress that Matt Reed has made since the start of the season?
You know, Matt is a great example of he's the same guy every day. He comes in from when we first got started in June to now, just every day he gives you his best effort. And that's in the weight room, that's in the film room, that's in the practice court. And to see him rebound the basketball the way he did was really great. He's been a guy that we have felt could make shots from the perimeter. He's getting more comfortable there. And I thought guys found him nicely in spots that he was prepared and ready to shoot it. And then, of course, there's always things to get better at, and that's the exciting thing, that he's engaged and enthusiastic about that. But as just a young true freshman, he's become a real difference maker for us. 16 rebounds in a game as a freshman is an astounding number, and it's really, really good to see.
Anything else?
Just tell me about UTSA tomorrow and what they bring to the table.
Yeah, UTSA is an interesting team. They're old. They've got so many new faces, and they're big. They will play a lineup of 6'10", 7 feet, and then I don't know that I've seen this in a long time. I'm trying to think of who it would be, but they've got 6 different guys that have made more than 23s at this midway part of the season. That's a lot. They got a 7th guy that's made 13. So they shot 45 threes in an overtime game at Memphis and made 17 of them. And then they also will shoot those long threes and crash the glass really hard. So for us, we look at start on the defensive end, and that's where we got to take a jump. We've got to be able to limit their threes. They're still going to shoot them. They've got so many different guys that shoot them, and then they're going to crash the glass really, really hard. And that's been a a staple of Coach Henson's program for a long time. But they're going to protect the paint. They're going to use their size. We've got to be able to take care of this basketball, and we can't let them get so on fire from three, because that can really extend a lead for somebody.
Anything else?
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks.